Frequency Matters, the RF and Microwave Update series. I'm Pat Hindle, and I'm here with my co-host Gary Lerude and special guest Janine Love, Edi Con Events Director. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So today we're going to cover the September High Frequency Components, PCBs, and Edi Con issue. The cover story is about DARPA's Spectrum Collaboration Challenge, and that's where they invite teams to come in with their software-defined radios, and they use different algorithms, including artificial intelligence, to test it in the Coliseum. And the Coliseum is the world's largest RF channel emulator, and it's a test bed that they bring these teams in and they test them to see who has the best software-defined radio design. So a very interesting article. Be good to follow this and see how it progresses over the years. I really think this could be the starting of what is going to be the basis of 6G.
Probably.
So what do we have for technical features?
So we have a couple of articles from our editorial review board that they've submitted. One is a push-push oscillator at G-band, G for Gary, I guess, fabricated with an 8/10 micron double HBT process in indium phosphide. It's pretty impressive. They demonstrated two designs, one at 161.6 gigahertz that had minus 6 dBm output power, and then another one at 204.8 gigahertz with minus 25 dBm output power. So pretty impressive. And then we have another in our series of Doherty PA articles. This one uses a ferroelectric material in place of the quarter wavelength line before the Class C peaking amplifier. They use that to get better linearity. So they demonstrate at 2.7 gigahertz basically a 30-watt device with better than 40% power added efficiency, and by tuning the ferroelectric material they can get the linearity improved, and they demonstrate 16 dB better third-order intercept than a conventional Doherty power amplifier. And then our third article in the issue is an application note from Anritsu on differential phase noise measurements. And of course, a lot of systems now are going differential, particularly with the digital component. So how to measure noise figure in a differential system is a key challenge.
And turning to Edi Con, it takes place October 17th and 18th in Santa Clara. Janine, maybe you can tell us some of the highlights of the event this year.
Yeah, so we worked really hard putting together the technical program, worked with our technical program committee and submitted abstracts from the industry. And some of the highlights this year is our 5G Symposium,
right,
which will happen on day one. And it has talks from Tom Cameron from ADI, Bror Peterson from Qorvo, James Young from ETS Lindgren, Layla Solomon from ANSYS Canada, and David Vai from NIAWR. And then it closes with a panel led by you, Pat, on RF technologies for 5G. So that's one highlight. Another highlight is on day two, we have the High-Speed Digital Symposium, which is led this year by our Signal Integrity Journal editor, Eric Bogatin. And he's going to take a closer look at power integrity, and he's going to work with Steve Sandler and Larry Smith to talk about that, and also have a lengthy question and answer session at the end of that. In addition to that, we have numerous technical sessions and papers, as well as workshops and speed trainings.
So one of the big changes this year is we're going to be in Santa Clara instead of Boston. Are there other changes that are taking place this year?
Yeah, there are. This year we are launching our Edi Con University, which has kind of grown out of some long-form training that we've been experimenting with at the event. And it's there are 3 sessions each day. They're 2 hours long, and attendees can get IEEE CEU PDH credits for it. And the topics range from antenna design to ultra-low power impedance and building your own VNA.
And how about the keynotes? We have a couple keynotes, I think, on each day.
Yeah. The keynotes are exciting. So on day one, we have Avi Jacob from VAR Imaging, and he is working with a group of people that are doing some really interesting, life-changing things with radar. So he's going to talk about, the actual title is Looking Deeper, Using Radar to Save Lives and Improve the World. So I'm really looking forward to some of the innovations he's going to talk about with us, kind of where we are and where we're going with the possible applications for radar in medical as well as commercial and other areas. Day two, our keynote is Ransom Stevens, who's a noted physicist and author. And so he's going to talk about innovation, incorporation, and integrity. And Ransom is always an entertaining and surprising speaker, so I'm looking forward to seeing what he has to say.
Yeah, that ought to be really interesting. So you talked some about the panels. Are there other panels or other demos that will be highlighted?
Yeah, there are. So on day one, I mentioned Pat's panel, which is what is the best RF architecture for 5G. So that closes out our 5G symposium. On day two, Gary, you have a panel on called the Pit Stop for Self-Driving Cars. And it's the kind of, I believe you're looking at the current state of self-driving car technology. Also on day two, we have a panel that's occurring in our Frequency Matters Theater, which is on the expo floor, called Skills Employers Want Most in 2020. And that is a panel that I actually helped organize with Charlotte Blair from ANSYS and Sherry Hess from NIAWR. So we're looking at some of the skills that are being identified in surveys and analysis of what engineers and professionals need to have to be successful kind of in the next decade.
Sounds really interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So attendees can register now online at the EdiConUSA.com website, and viewers of Frequency Matters can use the code FM30 to save 30% off of their conference pass. So we look forward to seeing everybody in Santa Clara next month.
Nice.
Great, we get our own special code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So turning to the news, Bloomberg reported that the Chinese government is considering combining their number 2 and number 3 telecom company, China Telecom and Unicom, into one to improve their readiness for 5G. They're really just pushing to be a leader in that area, and I think they'll do anything they can to do that. But it's just talk of a merger right now. But that would make them the second largest to China Mobile, so they would have number 1 and number 2 in the world. So we'll see how that plays out over the months coming. How about you? Did you see anything interesting in the news?
Yeah, one thing that caught my eye, GlobalFoundries is shifting strategy. I guess they've decided they're no longer going to chase Moore's Law, that it's too difficult, given the competition from TSMC and Samsung, to make the investment in the next generation fab and getting the volume to support that, to amortize it. So they've stopped the 7 nanometer development work and said that they're going to focus instead on some of the high growth markets, including RF and low power systems. And so I think overall that's a good story for the RF business, because they have, I think, struggled some to be profitable. And by cutting off this particular direction that obviously takes a huge amount of investment, they'll be able to invest more in RF. And already I think they're certainly a leader in that space.
Definitely.
So for those of us in this space that watch them, I think that's good news.
So I think that about wraps up this episode.
Yeah, we want to thank Janine for coming by and giving us the lowdown on Edi Con, and remind everybody again to register what the code is.
Yes, it's FM30, discount code at EdiConUSA.com.
That's great. And we want to thank you for watching. We want to thank also our sponsor, MACOM, for making this episode possible. MACOM is your partner from RF to Light. Until next time.